nom i al mitjà abans de cada pregunta i fer una pregunta per tots.
Well, hello. Good afternoon and welcome to Luis Enrique's press conference. And the topic of conversation naturally is going to be El Clásico tomorrow at 4:15 Central European Time in the Camp Nou. There's a packed press room here. So
Marc Brau.
We might take a little bit longer than normal.
Bona tarda, míster. Marc Rueda, Barça TV. De cara al partit de demà, m'agradaria que m'analitzessis una miqueta aquest Real Madrid que arriba aquí
First question from Barça TV. Speaking about the absences of Kroos and Bale.
No sé si creus que poden ser importants aquestes baixes o també...
And how important those two absences might be, or whether Zidane has perfectly adequate substitutes. Good morning.
En principio yo creo que nos vamos a encontrar a
In principle,
Real Madrid desde
we're going to be facing
al mismo Real Madrid
the same Real Madrid
de Zidane.
Since the arrival of Zidane.
Muy bien organizado
A very well-organized side,
que no necesita el balón para
a team that doesn't need the ball to compete,
y que basa su potencial en una
and who base their potential on transition out of defense and set pieces. Those are their main virtues, and they're achieving very good results. There's no doubt about the quality of their individuals, top world-class players.
Y es un partido para nosotros especial.
For us, it's a very special game, our eternal rival. And of course, we're playing at the Camp Nou, which is an added attraction to go into this game with the idea of playing well, because we really need to play as good as we can against the top quality opponent.
Hola, bon dia, míster. Marc Garriga, Catalunya Ràdio. El club ha emès avui el comunicat d'alta d'Andrés Iniesta. Com d'important...
Andrés Iniesta being declared fit.
Bueno, la gran noticia para mí siempre que se recupera un
The great news for me is that any player recovers from injury.
jugadores y recuperar
It's always a delight, a pleasure to recover players,
las opciones que tiene el equipo.
which gives us more possibilities.
Un rival o sea ante otro. Es siempre una
Against any opponent, it's always good news, and even more so talking about our captain.
Ya valoraremos las diferentes opciones que hay y qué posibilidades.
We'll be analysing the different options that we have tomorrow, and there's a good chance he could play. Talking about Madrid's attacking potential, but also the absence of Gareth Bale.
No hablaría de bajas.
I'd rather not speak about injuries in either side. Coaches always have to deal with such problems across a season. It's a normal situation. We've got an intense fixture list, and football is a contact sport in which injuries happen.
De jugadores de clase mundial a nivel de sus jugadores de ataque, sino también en su...
This Madrid team doesn't just have world-class players up front, but in all positions.
Buenos días, Adrián Albets de la cadena SER. No sé hasta qué punto crees que el resultado de mañana puede ser determinante.
How far could the result tomorrow determine the overall outcome of the league? If you win, 3 points between Barca and Madrid. If you lose, 9 points. Regardless of the result, I don't think anybody could say it's decisive. But people are free to make whatever opinion they like. It's the 14th game of the season. Clearly, one of the teams, Madrid, here, could take a very interesting lead. But regardless of the result tomorrow, I don't think that's going to be determinant on the outcome of the league. Bernd Schuster made a comment that Barca need to win this more than Madrid.
Por lo que significa la clasificación.
Because of the situation in the table, of course.
Tiene muy poco que ver la clasificación luego con lo que somos en el grupo de partidos. Lo hemos visto.
The table has nothing to do with what happens in these games. We've got references very recently of that.
Hola, mister. Elena Condis, Cadena COPE. ¿Es necesario para vosotros ganar el Clásico
Do you
para seguir
need
vivos en
to
Liga, pero
win
también Porque de una vez
the
por todas se
Clásico,
acaben las críticas del equipo.
both because of the league title challenge and to overcome certain criticism. It's important to win the Clásico because it's a game against a direct opponent that has the same aspirations as we do. But to think that winning that would put all the criticism behind us, that would be very simple of me, because no, that criticism is always going to be at a club like this. Talked about Andrés Iniesta, pretty much a full squad. But how important is Iniesta for the play of the team? Without Iniesta, it seems like the team's quality has dropped somewhat, and having him in the Clásico is very important. He's not just the captain, but he's the centerpiece of what our style of play is all about. I don't think we change our style particularly because of his presence or not, or any player. We play as a group. And the principles are the same, all of the different players. Some have a profile that's perhaps leading reference. In the case of Iniesta, he offers a lot both on and off the field, but it's good news, I insist, not just because of him as a footballer, but what he represents for the team. You said the other day you're favourites in every competition, but do you think you're favourites tomorrow with the fans behind you and everything? Look, anyone can label things however they want, but we're playing at home against Real Madrid. I mean, it makes no difference if there's 100 points between us or whatever. This is the Clásico. This is a game that the fans live a very different way to others. It's a delightful game which hopefully can bring joy to us as a team and also to our fans.
Quim Rueda, TV3. Independentment de les condicions futbolístiques, que són innegables, quant de factor psicològic per la resta de l'equip té la tornada d'Iniesta?
Asking about the psychological impact of Iniesta's return. Look, I can't classify your catalogue that in numbers, but it's really important to have got a player back. It's very positive. I couldn't quantify that.
Marcelo Beck para Sport Interactivo de Brasil. Sé que hoy hablamos todos del Clásico.
Got a Brazilian reporter.
Hay hoy un gran movimiento en Brasil para que la Chapecoense sea invitada para jugar el Gamper contra el Barça.
And he's talking about the air tragedy in Brazil and the potential of that team playing in the Gamper next year. I don't know. Anything that can be of benefit in the immediate future to a club which we've sensed such solidarity with, and that the whole football world is sharing that pain. I'm sure that we would agree with anything that would be appropriate. But these things don't depend on me. Talking about Real Madrid's players missing, are you relieved that Bale isn't playing? And might that affect your own plans? I've said nothing about Real Madrid's injuries. That was something that one of the reporters here said. I don't comment on those kind of things. And we managers don't tend to complain about injuries. It's just something you have to put up with in football. But I'm not going to deny that he's not a very important player for their team. He's doing very well this season. But that doesn't condition what I do in any kind of way, because I pick my team around what I've got in my team, not what another team has, though I do assess certain weaknesses that I may sense in the Real Madrid team. You said criticism is necessary. Look, you're exaggerating now.
criticaba más porque ni era de la casa ni era argentino. Después de 2 años y medio sobre el banquillo del Barça, ¿echa en falta alguna de estas dos cualidades?
¿Quién dijo que
I'm a bit lost on that question. So was Luis Enrique, thankfully, because
Más porque ni era de la casa ni era holandés.
yo soy como de la casa, soy gijonés.
look, I'm always a home man. I'm from Gijón, but I spent most of my life in Catalonia as well, so I kind of feel Catalan too.
Que he caído siempre muy bien, muy gracioso y no, lo digo en serio. A lo mejor aquí no, pero fuera de lo que es esta sala de prensa, tanto como jugador como entrenador, vivo en Cataluña, voy a seguir viviendo en Cataluña, estoy encantado
And
de la familia catalana y
I live in Catalonia. I form part of the Catalan family.
no he hecho en falta ninguna de esas cosas.
Hola, mister, Fabio del Sport. Últimamente habéis jugado bastantes partidos con los equipos más pequeños, objetivamente de vosotros, que os esperaban por atrás, muy atascados.
You've been playing against some lesser teams recently that have been playing perhaps defensively, sitting back.
Bueno, mañana te lo diré, pero
Well, I'll tell you tomorrow, but I think Madrid will be similar to last year, and the same Madrid we've seen at the start of this season, that's got no problem letting the other team keep hold of the ball, and that's great for us because we like to hold the ball. But they're a team that's got a great transitions between the defence, midfield and attack. They've got very quick players. They get the ball moving very directly with very short passes. They've got the players that fit in with that kind of system. We're going to try to control the ball more, play the possession game, try to generate space that we can then exploit and create goal-scoring chances. So I think both us and Madrid kind of have this, both have our approach to the game that we're going to be able to develop tomorrow. It depends on who works out the best. Can't quite understand what he's asking, but I think he's asking whether Luis Enrique is going to sleep well tonight. I sleep wonderfully, don't worry about that. It's not my first Clásico. I've played a lot and I've managed in enough as well to know that it's a wonderful game of football. There's a lot of expectation surrounding it. But you need to control your emotions. If the manager can't control his emotions, how can he expect his players to control them? My players as well, they're very used to playing on this kind of stage. No, I think I'll probably sleep better than ever tonight, you know, and really look forward to tomorrow's game at 4:15 when I hope it's going to be sunny. I know we've got 100,000 Barca fans who are going to be getting right behind the team, hoping that we win, and that's what we're going to be trying to do.
Hola, buenas tardes, Andrés Corpas del diario El Mundo. A mí me gustaría preguntarle, por una parte, ¿qué le hace ser optimista esta temporada?
Asking why you feel optimistic about the season, and is the team showing anything new this season?
¿Qué me hace ser optimista?
Why do I feel optimistic? Well, I look how my team trains every day, how they compete. Aware that there are things to be improved. I've said that in other conferences. We're one of there are top teams all around Spain and Europe, but I think we're as good as, if not better than, all of those. And in the job I've got, look, you've got to be optimistic, because otherwise, hey, there's the door. Managers tend by nature to be optimistic. I have no doubt that I am. I try to enjoy my team on a day-to-day basis while looking at the many things that need to be improved.
Ramiro.
Hola, Ramiro Durante de Marca. ¿Considera que los 6 puntos de diferencia que hay en la clasificación representan la diferencia?
Do you think that the 6 points between yourselves and Madrid really truly represent the difference between the teams? Really, does it matter what they represent? I mean, that's what the table is now. There's still, 28 games left to play, so if you like it more or less, if you think it's fair or not, that's for you to decide. But at the end of the season, we'll see when teams really get what they truly deserve.
Hola, Emilio Pérez de Rozas, del periódico. Ya ha definido muy bien qué Madrid cree que se va a encontrar.
You've defined the kind of Madrid you expect tomorrow. But what would you prefer? A Madrid that sits back playing speculative counter-attack football? Or a team that wants to just come and take the game straight to you? I defined what Madrid was last year when Madrid was most dangerous, which is when they actually dropped back into their own field, but games pan out in many different kinds of ways. I remember moments when goal kicks that went straight to the forwards, other times when there were one-on-one situations. I mean, I said what I think is going to be the decisive phases of the game, but there'll be all kinds of different phases. Their manager's going to adapt things depending on what he sees. Then I need to decide what I'm going to do. I mean, this is dictated by how the game pans out tomorrow. How do Madrid change from a four-man midfield to a three-man midfield? Well, tactically, it means if they play with four, then a player like Casemiro comes in and plays a more defensive role. And if they play a 4-4-2, then Isco played an important role, as we saw at the Calderón. But it's still really the same number of players that are playing in the central area, regardless of what system they choose to employ. The idea is going to be pretty much the same. I don't think there's going to be much difference from last season's game. It just depends on how individuals perform, perhaps pulling certain players back or forward, and it's the players that make perhaps more of a difference than the tactical distribution of the players, because you could play a defensive game but playing attacking players in defense or vice versa. So it depends a lot on the players. We'll have to see what 11 players they play, where they choose to put them on the pitch. We'll find all this out tomorrow.
Luis, Ricardo Rossi, TV Sports. Me gustaría preguntarte por el estado de Piqué y de Jordi Alba.
Asking about Piqué and Jordi Alba. Taken knocks against Real Sociedad. Is there any doubt they might play tomorrow? They're in the normal situation of players that have taken knocks of whatever type that might be, and it's quite normal. They're available, they train today, they can compete.
Buenos días, Germán Buena, Diario Sport. Zidane ha dicho en rueda de prensa que ya tiene decidido su once.
Zidane said he's already picked his 11. Have you? Well, I've kind of penciled things in. I might make some changes. Let's see.
Hola Luis, Ashraf Benaed, DB Sports. ¿El partido de mañana es la oportunidad perfecta para revelarse?
Is this the perfect chance to prove a point? Tomorrow's game is a chance to beat Real Madrid, to catch or close the gap on the league leaders. The rest of it, interpret as you will.
Hola Luis, ¿qué tal? Aquí atrás. Sé que, Xavi Riera, para 3 Media. Sé que a menudo has dicho que no tienes muy buena memoria, pero...
You always say you don't have much of a memory.
Inolvidable. Me gustaría ver si me podías decir cuál es tu mejor recuerdo.
What's your finest memory of a Clásico?
Claro, los jugadores te han dicho que has dicho que jugar un clásico, ¿no? Pero yo es que he jugado tantos que entonces es...
That have played...
Tengo tanta experiencia.
I mean, I've played so many Clásicos, I couldn't really pick one out. I haven't. There's nothing I can really say about that, really, to be honest. Okay, thank you very much. We'll look forward then tomorrow to the Clásico. All the best.